Okay, guys. Good afternoon to all of you. So today I started the session a little bit late because of the problem which we faced in our LMS. Okay. So today concept session we are going to discuss about a very important topic on JavaScript, which is called as a DOM. What is the full form of the DOM? Anybody knows that? Full form of the DOM in JavaScript?
Document object model.
Yeah, document object model is the full form of the DOM. So what is the purpose of the DOM? Any answers for this? What we can do with DOM? By seeing this text, you can make it out. Have you noticed in how many different ways websites are made interactive? So that means what can be done with the DOM?
Sir, make websites interactive.
Yeah, so you can make the website interactive. With a DOM, you can make the website interactive. Can you guys give some example of interactive website? Can you give some example where website is interacting with the server or user is interacting with the server through the website? Can you give any example for that? Possible?
Amazon.
Yeah. See, suppose any website. If you go, you are going to have a sign up and login page. So you in a login page, you are giving your username and password. So if you are if the same username and password which is there in the server, you are going to give you login permission. So that is a one way of interacting user to the server through the browser. Okay. Any other reason of interactivity? In Amazon, in the product search box, you are going to give a name of the product mobile. So all the mobile is going to get displayed. What are the mobiles are there in the server? It is going to get displayed with all its information. So this is also one way of doing the making the website interactive. Any other interactivity? Example? Okay, so interactivity means what? You are on the runtime of the application, the user is communicating to the server. It's at the time of, see, when you load the page, the web page looks like website looks like something like normal page. Now on the website, based on the user input, the website look and feel or the website content will differ. So that is nothing but interactivity. Okay, so on a page load, it has got some look and feel, and in the on the page load, your user is giving some input to the web page, and based on the input, you are going to get a dynamic output. That is nothing but called interactivity. Let us see how the background of the weather app changes when the time slider moves. So there is these are the some more examples of interactivity. Can you see? Whenever the scroll bar, the horizontal scroll bar is changing that time, the background of the weather app is going to get changed. So any idea how it has been done? Can it be done only through HTML? Possible?
No,
Can
sir.
it be done only through HTML? Possible?
No, sir.
No,
Yeah.
sir.
So yeah, whenever you want to see, user is changing the timeline, and then based on that, the background theme is changing. So only through HTML, this interactivity of the web page is not possible. Okay, we need to have the intervention of the JavaScript so that the JavaScript can change that the different background for the weather app based on the different timeline which has been chosen by the user. Okay, so here JavaScript intervention is must. See some other example. See over here, it is a calendar example. Okay, so whenever you are going to change the month, see you are selecting a date, suppose 15 May, and then you are conducting a meeting, giving the name of the meeting, and the look and feel is going to get changed. So this is also a web page where the calendar functionality of the Outlook you are replicating over here, and the page is responsive based on the input of the user. That means here also the input is been implemented in this web page, and how that interactivity implementation possible through JavaScript coding. Now in JavaScript, what is being used to do that interactivity? That is nothing but called as DOM, document object model. We'll discuss more about this. Now here is a video that shows how the views of the page changes when a different theme is chosen. Let's see. See, whenever you are going to choose from the top, whenever you are going to choose, I'll go for a note. Yeah. See, from the top, from over here, whenever you are going to change the theme, it is going to get changed. So who makes this possible for your web page? It makes this, it is possible by what? It is possible through DOM of the JavaScript. So these are the example where we are making the web page interactive. Okay. Okay. Who makes these changes? This is our question. This changing is made by the JavaScript and by using DOM. So next thing, see what are the thing can be done through JavaScript. Can you tell me, anybody? So when the JavaScript is required in your website, can anybody answer this?
Sir, we can do data wrangling.
Yeah, data handling you can do with JavaScript. Very good. Just now you have learned it. Anything else?
Sir, we can use media screen for different types of screens.
Okay. Yeah, fine. Next. See, any kind of animation you can implement in your web page through JavaScript. Client side validation, you can do it with JavaScript. Live clock, you can put it in your JavaScript. Any kind of interactivity, any kind of the interactivity also can be done, can be achieved for your web page through JavaScript. Okay.
We can implement particles.
Sorry.
Particles.
Yeah, particles also you can implement through JavaScript. Yes, fine. Okay. So there are means any whenever you want to make your web page dynamic, means once the page got loaded, then based on the user input, the website will respond accordingly. So that type of implementation when is required for a web page, you have to go with a JavaScript. Okay, suppose you are going to click a button, some text is appearing which was not displayed at the time of page load. So that also can be done through DOM with JavaScript. Means you are going to click a button, welcome message is going to get displayed. So which was not displayed on the page load. So that means it is a interactive. That also we can do it with JavaScript. Any kind of dynamicity you want to add in your website, for that JavaScript is a must, without, because JavaScript is a programming, and dynamic, to make a web page dynamic means you have to write a program for that, and for the web page programming name is nothing but JavaScript. Now develop interactive web page using DOM and DOM events. So we are going to learn two things in DOM. One is called DOM, normal DOM, and another we are going to learn DOM event. Okay, so DOM is the full form of the DOM is document object model, and DOM events is also document object model events. So what is event? What is normal DOM? We are going to discuss in upcoming slide. Don't worry. See, what are the things we'll be learning over here? DOM elements. DOM actually a object. DOM actually a object, and that object name is document. DOCUMENT, document. DOM is actually object which is called as the document object, and that an object can have properties and functions. In Java we have learned it, is it not? Okay, so object has got function associated with it, and object has got property or attribute associated with it. Since DOM is nothing but an object for a web page, which is a document object, so that means document object also will have some functions or methods, and it will also have some attributes. So different function will be using different purposes, different attributes you are going to use different purposes. What are these? We are going to learn in upcoming slides. Then manipulate DOM to add dynamic effects. So we are going to manipulate the document object so that we can add the dynamicity in our web page. Dynamically add DOM elements. So through DOM, see, suppose there is a HTML page, and in that HTML page you have a div tag, and within a div tag there is a one within a div tag there is a one paragraph. Okay, so what I'm saying, there is a HTML page, under that within a body section you have a div, and in that div you are having a one paragraph. Okay, now you are having a one more button also. Okay, one more button on the web page. So when you click on the button, another one paragraph is going to get created, and it is going to be the part of the part of the div. How that is possible? Through DOM object it is possible. Okay, so in a HTML, statically there is a div is present, there is a within that div paragraph is present. Now I want to create a new para on the runtime when I click on the button, and that paragraph I want to add it inside the div as a second paragraph. So this dynamicity you can do it with DOM. Is it okay, guys? So that means on the runtime, on the page load, what you are seeing in the browser, you can create a element through JavaScript using DOM. You can remove the element. You can change the properties of the element. You can change the look and feel of the element. So whatever you want to do, see, whatever type of programming you want to achieve or you want to incorporate in your HTML page can be done with a DOM in JavaScript. Okay, then create event handler. Can you guys tell me what are the example of events in any web page? Do you know that? Guys?
Clicking of button.
Yeah, clicking a button. So click is an event for a button. What are the mouse related events are there?
Mouse over.
Yeah, mouse over. When you place the mouse on top of something, mouse out, mouse in, mouse over, mouse leave. So then what are the keyboard related events are there?
Button press.
Yeah,
Shortcut
key up, key down. So these are the keyword related events. So events also we'll be learning, don't worry. Okay, now the most important thing
is also an event or not?
Sorry?
Sir? So if we do right click from mouse, is it an event or not?
Yeah, anything mouse related, right click of mouse is event, left click of mouse is event, scroll up and scroll down for the mouse is event. Okay,
Okay, sir.
placing the cursor of the mouse on the top of some element, that is also event. Leaving the some element from element through leaving the cursor from some element of the HTML is also event. Mouse leave. So whatever mouse related work you do, everything is an event. Whatever, and in a keyboard, whatever you do, key press is a event, key leave is a event. Okay, so like that.
Yes,
So
yes.
events are what? Based on in events, what we do, when some event occurs, I can have some code for that event, and that will get executed when the event has happened. Suppose I am writing on so I am writing click event of mouse, I am going to display a paragraph. So you can do it whenever you are going to click on the whenever you are going to click on some particular button, it is going to dynamically, it's going to display something for you. That is also based on the event, you can do something. So you are going, suppose it is like this. Let me understand this with the example. Yeah. Where is my studio? Suppose what I will do, I'm going to have a file here. I'll give the name as event test.html. Okay. Now here I am going to have a HTML. Okay. Now here what I will do, I am going to have a button, suppose. Button. Okay, button like this. Then I am going to have a on click event. On click, it is there. Equal to, I am going to call a function. Suppose if you and fun. And then I'm going to display the text on the button. Suppose click here. Click here. Okay. Now, see over, this is an example of the code where I have a button, click here, and that within the opening button tag, I have a on-click event. And on the on-click event, I am calling a function fun. Can you guys tell me this fun function, which is going to be called whenever the button is going to be clicked? It would be a JavaScript function, it would be a HTML function, it would be CSS function, what it would be?
JavaScript function.
Yeah, so function, we cannot write function in CSS, we cannot write function in HTML. So function is a program, and program means it is a JavaScript. Okay, so can you tell me where you are going to define this function? Any idea? Where you are going to define this function?
Between script tags.
Yeah, either in separate JS file, or what you can do, you can have a script tag. You can have a script tag, and within the script tag, you can define the function. How to define the function? Function keyword, then fun, open close parenthesis, normal Java-like function it is, only the syntax is different. For define a function is JavaScript, it would be function keyword, then fun, name of the function, and over here you are going to write something, suppose alert. Alert, welcome. Welcome. Semicolon. So now if I run this, so what will happen? I have a button, click here, and when I'm going to click it, so welcome is going to be displayed. So this is what event we have captured over here, on click event. On click event of what I have captured? On click event button. And whenever the based on the on click event button is clicked, I am calling a function. This is nothing but JavaScript function. Inside the JavaScript function, dynamically I am displaying some message in a alert box, alert welcome. Okay. Can you guys tell me, I don't want to give an on click event. I want to give some on mouse over event. So for that purpose, what you will do? You write over here on mouse over. On mouse over is there, which is there where it is mouse over. On mouse over fun. Now if I save it, can you tell me when the alert will display for this case? Any idea?
When the cursor is on the mouse.
Yeah, when the cursor is on the
Button.
On the button. See, I'm not clicking. So I'm just placing over here. It is going to display that thing. So like that, different events are there, which you can give it for the different element of the HTML. And based on that event, you are going to execute some code and you can make the website interactive. Fine. Okay. Okay, next thing. Yeah. Now next most important thing is what this is a very important picture actually. Yeah. See this picture, what it is depicting here. We are as a website developer or as a website designer. First thing what we will be work on, tell me.
HTML.
Yeah, first we are going to write the HTML code. As a website designer, first we are going to write a HTML code. And then side by side, you are going to give a styling file for that. Okay. Okay. Now, when HTML and CSS code is written, then what will happen? You are going to load that HTML page from in the browser. So whenever you are going to load it, so before loading, the HTML code is going to be given to the HTML parser in the browser, and that HTML parser it is like a, for C programming language there is a compiler. So compiler helps us to transfer the high level code to machine code. Similar fashion, HTML normal code which you are written like English language, when you are going to load that HTML page, it is going to go to the HTML parser, and HTML parser convert that HTML code into not machine level code in a DOM tree. Okay, so DOM tree is what we are going to discuss that. Similar fashion, when the page is getting loaded, browser it has a CSS parser, and that CSS code is going to transfer into style rules. Once DOM tree and style rules is created separately, then these two will be combined together and it is going to get rendered render, and while rendering, it is going to take some layouting, layouting through bootstrap layouting or grid layouting or flex layouting, whatever it is. It's going to take that layouting, and at that it's going to display in the output screen. So that means what? Whatever HTML code you are writing, whenever you are going to load that HTML page, what happens internally, the browser parser parse the HTML, convert it into DOM tree. What is DOM tree? We'll discuss DOM tree, and then that DOM tree with the styles is going to get rendered in the browser the way it should be written in the HTML, and for that corresponding what DOM tree you got. Okay. Next thing. Why it is not going to- Okay, fine. Okay, next. Yeah, over here, see, this is a code snippet of the HTML. This is a snippet of the HTML. So actually, HTML is like a tree-like tree-like structure way of writing a code is nothing but done with HTML. So can you tell me in this HTML which is the root element? In the left hand side, if you say the left hand side is the HTML code, what is the root element of all these elements?
HTML.
Yeah, so HTML is the root element of all these elements. Okay, so this is this one. Why it is the root element? Because everything is under or is within HTML. Everything is within HTML. This is the root element. So whenever when the HTML code is passed by the browser and equivalent DOM tree got created, in that tree, which is the root DOM element? Tell me. So when this is HTML, and when it is going to be parsed in the browser, and it is going to give a equivalent DOM tree. So in that DOM tree, which would be the root element for this web page?
Body.
No, HTML only. No, HTML only. HTML is the root element in the HTML page, HTML code. Similarly, when it is going to be passed by the DOM, HTML only be the root element for root element, most outer level ancestor for all the element which is present in the HTML code. Now you tell me, what are the child HTML is having? HTML is having some child which
Head
are
and
there.
body.
Yeah, so head and body is the child of HTML. Head, and then there is a body. So can you tell me what is the relationship between head and body then in this DOM tree? See, in a parser, when this HTML code is there and it is going to get loaded in the page, the parser will convert it to equivalent DOM tree. And this is, you can take it as an example of the DOM tree. So head is the first child of the HTML, body is the second child of the HTML. So what is the relationship between the head and body?
Sibling.
Yeah, they are siblings. They are siblings. So head and body are the siblings. Okay. Now, can you tell me head is having what child? Head is having what child? Title. And head is having child title, and then title is having what child?
My title.
No, my home page, the content. Okay, so you one thing you remember, in HTML, the content is also considered as the child of the element and within which the content is being written. Guys, clear? Understood? Okay, can you tell me head parent is going to get stopped in which in where? So head is having child title, title is having child my homepage, and is my homepage is having anything after it?
No, sir.
No. So
No,
this
sir.
is the no. So here the family tree for the head is going to be get stopped in the my homepage, which is the text node under title. Similar fashion, body is having a H1. So how many child body is having? Tell me. Quickly tell.
H1P.
Sorry.
H1P.
H1 and P.
Yeah, H1 and 2P. H1 and 2P.
2P.
So the body's child is H1. H1 child is my homepage text. Then similarly, paragraph child is the text of this. And then the second paragraph child is like the text of this. So whenever a HTML page got passed by the browser, you are going to get this kind of tree-like structure, which will be formed in the form of DOM object. Got it? And that and which is child of what? Based on that, it is going to display in the output screen or the browser. Okay. Yes. Next, we'll go for the next. Yeah. Over here, HTML is the root element. HTML is having two child, head and body. Head is having title. Title is having my homepage. So this structure is very important to understand. Otherwise, you will not able to write a DOM code at all. Okay, so you need to understand the content or the text within a title is nothing but child of title, and the title is also a child of its parent element head. Head is also a child of its parent element HTML. So you need to have this understanding with you so that you can write the dynamic DOM code by yourself. Okay. Similar fashion, whatever we have discussed, same thing over here also. So we have a body. Body is having three child, H1P. H1 child is having my homepage content. P is having hello I am, and second P is having I also write. And then the third P is having inside text as well as anchor tag, and then anchor tag, and there is some other content which is the child of the P. So this is how the document object got created based on the HTML what you have written. Okay. Okay, next thing, document object. What it is telling here, display the DOM tree created corresponding to the web page using an online tool. So there is an online tool, through that you can create the DOM object. So for that purpose, what I will do, 1 second. See, there is a link over here, this one. This is the link. You go to that link. Can it directly go? No, it has to be run, then only it can go. I'll open the browser. I'll come over here, enter. So this is a website. I'm going to share this link to you. See over here, what they're telling, you can see what would be the DOM tree look like for a particular HTML, what you are writing over here. Okay, so here you are going to write a doc tab HTML. Here you are going to write, suppose, head, HEAD head. Okay, and then you close the head. Close the head over here. Then inside head, I'm going to have a title. In the title, I'm going to have a my page, and close the title.
Sir,
Yeah.
while closing the head, it should have one slash, right?
Yes, correct. Sorry. Okay. Now what you have? Okay, can you see? I am writing HTML over here, and for that HTML, when it is going to get parts, how the DOM tree look like, that is going to display over here. Okay, getting? Similar fashion, you can have a body also. You can have body, and body you are going to close it, or you can copy paste your HTML, and in the body I'm going to have, suppose, H1, and H1 I am heading. So this one. So for this, see, your how the tree looks like. HTML is the parent. HTML is the parent of all the family member. HTML is having head and body, which is the two child of HTML. Then head is having title, and title child is nothing but text, my page. Similarly, body is having a H1 as a child, and that H1 is having a text, I am heading, as a child. So, and this is the output of this HTML, and between this code and this output, what is happening inside by the browser while parsing the HTML, this is this the middle stage where the document tree is being created, and based on the document tree, you are going to render this content in your web page. Is it clear, guys? Understood? Fine. Okay. So how you are going to, if as a programmer, if you want to see the DOM tree for a particular HTML page, copy paste your HTML page over here and see the DOM structure or DOM tree, and you are going to see the output as well. So this what is it called, link, I am going to share it to you in your mentor notes so that you can refer to check particular HTML files DOM structure. Okay, that is this thing. Next we'll go for the next thing. Yeah, so now over here, now the most important thing which you will be learning called can you tell me what is the object name of the DOM? What object you are going to refer as a DOM element? The object name of the DOM is nothing but called document. Document is the name of the object of the DOM in what is it called in JavaScript. Okay, so what does it mean?
Do you mean title?
No, what you are saying, tell me.
Sir, you said the document, it is a DOM. So do you mean that the content that we specify in the title, is that what you are calling?
No, not in the title. It is just for displaying purpose. In the tab, what you want to display, there is no relation between what a document object and the content of the title. Okay, got it?
Okay.
Yeah. This is just for this how you want to display the content of the page, like that they have said it over here. So now the very important thing is what it is like this. See, you have a get elements by tag name. So this is one function which can be called by the document object. Then get elements by class name. This is another function which can be called by the document object. Get element by ID. Third function can be called by the document object. Query selector. This is the fourth function that can be called by the document object. Query selector all. Fifth function can be called by the document object. Okay, so these are what is it called? Get elements by tag name, get elements by class name, get element by ID. So these are nothing but the functions which document object can call, and with that document object, by calling this function, it can access any of the element which is there in the HTML. Okay, see, the important thing is what? I have some HTML code with me. Now I want to do some manipulation of my HTML code in a JavaScript. So you have to access the element of the HTML, right? That accessing purpose, we have all these functions. Does it make sense? Okay, let's understand one example, then you will get to know. 1 second. Yeah. So what I will do, I'll give you an example. Over here, suppose yeah. See, what I said over here is that there is an object called document object. DOCUMENT, document object. This is nothing but object. It is an object. Which object? It is a DOM object. DOM object. Now, these document object can call some functions. Which are the function it can call? Document dot get element by ID. This is the function it can call. It can call some other function, document dot get elements by name. It can call some other function, document dot get elements by tag name. Okay, then it can call some other function document dot get element what are these? ID name, tag name, and class name. Elements by class name. Okay, and it can call document dot query selector, QUERY query ACLS selector. Okay, so like this. So document is a parent object of the DOM, and this parent object has got associated with some function called get element by ID, get elements by name, get elements by tag name, get elements by class name, like that. Now let's write a program over here. Suppose what I will do in a body section, I am having a paragraph. I'm having a paragraph tag. Okay, and here I'm writing I am para. Okay, now what I will do, I am going to have a in a para, what I will do, I'm going to have a on click for this, on click event for this, on click equal to suppose fun, on click equal to fun. Okay, now so whenever I am going to click on the para, the fun function is going to be called, and within the body I have a script tag for this. In a script I'm going to define the function, and over here what I'm going to do, see, the code for the fun function I'll leave it for a time being like this only. Now here what I will do, I'll give ID equal to some P1 as the ID. Okay, now guys tell me among these functions, which functions you will call so that this paragraph you can access in a JavaScript. See, I want the access. Yeah, tell me.
ID.
Yes. So this paragraph has a ID P1. So I have a in a document, I have a function called get element by ID. Using that, JavaScript can access the element which is there in the HTML. So we are bridging the JavaScript and the HTML using these all the functions which are there in the document. Understanding? Clear? So here what I will do, I'm in a Java, I am going to have a variable suppose str equal to, I will write document dot get element by ID. What is the ID over here? Tell me what is the ID?
P1.
Yeah, P1 is the ID. Okay, then you go for yeah. Then for that you can go for value. Suppose content or text, you can go for value. Okay, now if I write alert str, anybody has any idea what is going to give you as an output?
I am para.
Yes. So where it is going to get display I am para? Where it is going to get displayed I am para? In a alert box, right?
Yeah.
In a alert box. See, this is a JavaScript coding and these are all HTML elements. So now I am bridging the HTML element, or I am going to do some dynamicity in my HTML through JavaScript. So how I can do that? I need to access the element of the HTML in JavaScript. Then only I can do that, right? Getting? So get element by ID is a function of document which is helping us to select the element in HTML whose ID is P1. And in that P1, whatever value is there, I am para, that I am going to get read, put it in a variable, and then that variable within a through JavaScript, I'm going to display as a alert. So that is what. So now if you do it, yeah. Now if I run it, save it, and run it. See, I am para. Click on this, it is giving undefined. Why it is giving undefined? Because some other function you need to use. You go for inner HTML. Dot inner HTML. Now you save it, Control S, and run it. Click on this. See, I am para, it is going to display. So is it not become interactive now? So whenever you click on the paragraph, on-click event of the paragraph, JavaScript is reading whatever there in the paragraph P by using the get element by ID function of the document object, put it in a variable, and then in a alert message it is displaying that. Is it okay, guys? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now you tell me, suppose I am having a class, I don't have an ID. I am having a class P1. So then how I am going to access the P element using which
Get
function of the
element by
document I am
class
going
name.
Document get element by class name.
By
to?
class
Yeah.
name.
So yeah, for that purpose, what you will do here, you are going to go document.get elements by class name. Selected. Okay, here there is a one question over here. Previously it was a document.get element by ID. There was no S over here, but here elements S is there. So that means all the element whose class name is P1 is going to get selected. Okay, so here there is a plural. It is not get element by ID. It is a get elements by class name. So that means it is an array of all the element whose class name is P1. Getting? Guys, understood?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Sir, it
Yeah.
should be
Yes,
dot
sir.
P1, no?
Sorry?
It should be dot P1, no?
No, since it is a function get elements by class name, it would be only class name, only P1. It should not be dot P1. It is not the CSS selector. It is a JavaScript get elements by class name function will take only the class name in double quote. If you want to access the IAMPara in a CSS, that time you will go for dot P1. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So now what I will do, I'll just now here if I run it, it is not going to show me the output. Save it and run this one. Click on this. See, it is giving undefined. Why it is giving undefined? Because get elements by class name is select all the elements whose class name is P1. So it is a number of elements S. So to locate the first element whose class name is P1, I'm going to use 0. So it's like array. Array 0th element index, first element index is 0, second element index is 1, third element index is 2, like that. So get elements by class name means it is going to access multiple element whose class name is P1, and from that multiple element, first element content I want to display in I want to store it in str, and that I want to display. Now you go for save. Click on this. Yeah. So you are getting IAMPara now. Okay, now you tell me. So the thing which you remember, element by ID is a singular form and elements by class name is a plural form. So whenever you are selecting element by class name, that time you have to mention the index number for that element which are all with that class name. Now you tell me if I have this. Control C, Control V. Now here I am para 2. What would be the code changes required if I want to display IAMPara 2 in JavaScript?
Index 1.
Yes. So here, if you save it, it would be IAMPara only. See, IAMPara 2. Click on IAMPara. It's going to display that. But if you go for again, you click IAMPara, that is also IAMPara it is displaying. Now to display the content of IAMPara 2, you have to change the index number over here. And then you do the Control S and you will get that thing. Click on this, click on any paragraph, IAMPara 2 is going to get displayed. Okay, so what you are doing, you are accessing the element of the HTML in your JavaScript by taking help of the document object, which is the root object of the documentary of HTML, which you are going to get when the parser parses the HTML code. Is it clear, guys? Okay. Okay, next thing. Let me see who can answer this me. Get elements by tag name. Get elements by tag name. Dot get elements by tag name. Okay, so inside, yeah, what you should write over here within a double quote.
Sir, only P paragraph.
Yes, very nice. Who answered it?
Sir, Ayush.
Yeah, good, Ayush. So, what is the tag name? These are tags, right? P is a tag, then script is a tag, body is a tag. So, whenever you are going to call a function get elements by tag name, that means it is the tag name which you have to refer within the as a parameter of this function. So, what is the parameter? Here I am going to give tag name is P. So, when it is a class name P1, when it is a ID, what is the ID is there in the paragraph? That ID. When you call the elements by tag name, it should be the tag name which you want to refer. P. Can you tell me what will be the output for this code? How many P will be selected by this?
Sir, 2.
Yeah. So since you are selecting the element by its tag name P, that means how many P's are there in the HTML? All P is going to get selected. And which P's inner HTML I am going to store it in str? Which piece which piece content I am going to store it in str for this piece of code?
P2, para2.
Para 2.
Para 2. So
Para
para 2 inner HTML will be stored in. Oh yeah, correct. Got it. Okay. So now if you save it, okay, you understood it. No problem to run it and show it again over here. Okay. Next thing. Next is get elements by class name is done. Tag name is done. By name. What you tell me what you should for this purpose. If you get element dot get element by name. By name. So what would be the parameter value over here when it is get element by name? Any idea?
The name attribute which is passed to the tag.
Yeah, name. Is there any name attribute over here in my 2 paragraph?
No.
No, so you have to add it for that. You write name equal to suppose ABC. Okay. And here also you are going to add a name attribute, name equal to suppose DEF. Now I want to access the second paragraph whose name is DEF in through this document.get element by name function. So what you will do over here? Tell me. DEF you will be writing over here. DEF. Okay. And see, this is also plural. S is there. Get elements by name. So whenever there is a plural format of the get element function, that time you have to mention the index number of that sequence of element for which you want to access. So here I'll give it a 0. I'll give it a 0. Then I'll save it and run it. Click on this. See, I am para 2. It is going to get displayed. I am para 2. It is going to get displayed. Is it okay? Have you clear with the document get element? What are the function you will be using to access the element in the HTML in JavaScript? Now next, I think Swapnil or Mainak was asking a dot p1 and like that. So here is another selector called variable. Suppose str1 equal to document dot query selector. QUERY query selector. Over here, what you are going to using query selector, what you are going to select, how the selection you used to do in CSS, same way in a query selector you will be using. So can you tell me if I have like something like this ID equal to suppose PP, and over here also ID equal to PP1. Okay, query selector means what? Say if I want to select if I want to make the color I am para red and I want to select it by its ID. So what would be the selector of CSS for that?
Sir, get element
No.
by ID.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. See, we have already learned it. Element by ID means it is a query selector. Query selector means what? It would be hash pp. Getting dot inner HTML. So query selector is the same selector. how you are going to select the element in CSS. So if it is a ID, hash pp. If it is a class, tell me what would be the, how you are going to select the first paragraph by its class through query selector. Tell me.
Dot pp.
Yeah, dot p1. Query selector is the same selector what we learned in CSS. Okay, getting? So either you can select by class, or you can select like these also. Suppose body, within body, you can select a P. So that can you tell me, if I write body P, it is a what type of CSS selector?
Descendant.
It is a child. Yeah, it is a descendant, means it is a child selector. So within a body, all the P will get selected. Getting? So query selector is a function where within the parameter would be the selector, just like that it was there in the CSS. Okay. A get element by ID, based on the ID name, you are going to select the element. Elements by name, so you are going to use this name in the parameter of that function. By tag name, you are going to use this tag name, H1 P or H1 or whatever it is. And then class name, you are going to select this class name for selecting the element. And the query selector means you are going to select by the CSS selector within as a parameter of this query selector function. Till here, so far it's okay, guys, understood? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Last one, can I please?
Last one is a query selector. See, I have something like this. Okay, I have a body, this one, and then I have something like this, div. Within div, I have a body. I have a paragraph. And here I am in div. Okay. Now, if I write like this, tell me if I write like this, query selector P. So what is going to be selected? Query selector P in our HTML. What is going to be selected?
Paragraphs. All paragraphs.
All paragraphs. It's going to select first P, second P, third P, all paragraph. But in a query selector, if I use child selector, div P, then which P will be selected?
I am
in div paragraph will be selected. So query selector is a selector within where inside parameter you are going to have any CSS selector which you have learned. You can use it.
Okay.
Got it? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go for the next thing now. Now display the DOM T created correspond. This is done. Then selecting DOM element. So this also we have done it. Yeah. One more time I'll do the revision on this. Yeah. Now you tell me, get elements by tag name. So in a parameter, what we will be using for select particular element? Example you give.
H1.
Yeah. Okay. Get element, then get elements by class name. Example of what we are going to write as a parameter of the of this function.
Class name.
Class name. Element by ID, you are going to refer the ID. Query selector, you will have the selector. It can be a child selector. It can be a class selector. It can be a, okay, now in a query selector, if I write this, how I can select this paragraph through query selector? Can anybody tell me that? How I can select this paragraph, first paragraph whose ID is pp, through query selector in JavaScript? What you should do?
Body
P1.
Body P1
name.
P1.
Ah, yes. So you
Dot
can go for
okay.
body. It is a class selector, means dot has to be written. Body star P1. Okay. Otherwise, there is a simple approach. You can go for hash. Tell me hash what?
hash
PP.
Hash
PP.
pp. Hash pp. Then you go for direct selector. Dot what? Dot
PP.
dot P
P1.
Dot
dot
P1.
p1. No.
P1 yes, sir.
It's a query selector class means dot class name. Query selector ID means hash ID name. Query selector child means the body. That means what is it called? The body, and then space. You are going to have the body, and then you can go for dot p1. Okay, or body you can go for hash pp. Like that you can go about it. Fine. Okay, okay, I think you have understood this concept. I'll not stretch it more on the same thing. Yeah. Okay, now yeah, now over here, who can explain this code to me? What is happen, what is written over here? Tell me. See what?
Sir, we are getting the result of H1 at 0 index.
Yeah, no, we are, first you tell me what we are selecting by this content, by this code.
Tag name.
Sorry,
Tag name.
no, means what, all the
H1.
h1 got selected, no?
Yes, yes.
By tag name h1 means all the h1 got selected, and among all the h1, first h1 got selected by the index 0. Okay, so this you have to understand. Get elements by tag name means all the elements whose h1 tag that got selected, and among that all I'm selecting the first h1, which is 0. What is happening here?
From
So-
all list, first list is selected.
Only first
Yeah,
list.
we are selecting all the list item, and in the all the list item, first
Index
whose index
0.
is 0 or the first index we are selecting. What is happening here?
Class whose name is heading, we are getting first.
In heading, first
Yeah,
index is
so
right.
there may be multiple heading tags are there. So among multiple heading, the first heading we are getting selected. So
There are multiple
selecting
head
a
taggings or-
element whose class name is heading, and if you have a multiple heading, the first heading is nothing but 0. What we are selecting here? Tell me.
Sir, getting all element whose ID is item.
No, all is it all here?
Whose ID name is item.
Yeah, whose ID name is item. So ID is always a unique. So that's why there is no S over here. There is no get elements by ID. It is element by ID, because ID is always unique for in HTML whenever you are creating it. Okay, what we are selecting over here? Tell me.
Same, sir. Whose ID name is
Yeah, only item.
Yeah, whose ID name is item, that you are getting selected. And in a query selector, you are going to use the CSS selector for ID hash for class dot class name. Okay, fine. Yeah, next thing. Okay, now create a new element. Create a new element, document dot create element. So the document has got, so what are the function you have learned it for document? We have learned document dot get element by ID, document dot get element by tag name, get element by class name, get element by name. All you have learned. Then there is another functions is there for document, which is called create element. Any idea what this will be doing? Any random guesses?
create a div tagging element HTML.
Very good. So that means on a runtime, you are going to create a div element for your HTML. Got it? Okay, now can you tell me what this will do?
Create a content.
Exactly. So here I want to, in the div element, what I want to place inside that. So for that purpose, we are going to create a create text node. So document will call, see what I want. I have a HTML. This is very important concept. I have a HTML, and then I have a head, body, and all these things is there. So I have a body, and within body, I don't have anything. Within body, I don't have anything. Okay. Now my JavaScript, what it will do, my JavaScript is going to add a div inside the body, and inside that div, I'm going to write hi there and there, hi there and greetings. So for that purpose, what you will do, I need to create a div and I need to create a text node. And then that text node, I'm going to make it as a child of the div. So that means that next node will become the child of the div, and then that div I'm going to put it in the HTML. Are you guys with me? Are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what I am doing, I am creating document.create element. Can you tell me if I want to create a heading, what I should do?
H1.
Yeah, I want to create a heading H1. I will do create element H1. I want to create a P, dynamic P, create element
P.
P. I want to create an anchor tag, dynamic anchor tag, document.create element.
A.
A,
I want to create a heading tag, document.create element.
H,
Header. Okay. So like that. So whatever element JavaScript is going to get created, for that there will be a create element function, which will be function of document. And that I am going to put it in a variable new div. Okay. Now, what content you are going to put in the div, that should be created with a create text node function of document, which is anything. This text is anything. What you want to, what content you want to put it in the div. Can you guys tell me what this line is doing? Read this line and tell me.
Oh, add
The content that we have created is
yeah.
getting inserted in the div.
Yeah. So append child means what? Make the content hi there and greetings. Make that content child of the div which you have created using new div. Okay. Now you tell me what this will be doing. This will be happening what?
Removing that.
remove children,
remove
Yeah.
that content.
remove the
Yeah.
content.
So that means the content will be removed from the new div which is hi there and greeting. And then there is content dot remove. So new content is a variable which is holding the text, and if you go for new content dot remove, it is going to remove that content from that file. Is it okay, guys? Clear? Okay, let's do it in a practically so that we'll be understanding more, little bit more in depth. So for that purpose, see what I will be doing. I'll be opening here. I have a script tag and all, let it be. Okay, body. Delete it. Okay. Now, so within a body, now what I want to do, I want to create, see now my, nothing is there inside my body. Nothing is there inside of my body. I want to create a div in the body, and inside that div, I want to display a paragraph, or I am going to display text. So for that, separately, I'm going to create a div. Separately, I'm going to create a text within div, which I want to display. And then that text, I am going to make it as a child of div, and that div, I'm going to put it in the HTML body. So how we'll do, I'll write variable, suppose my div, my div equal to document dot, what is it? Tell me. Create element. And what I want to create? I want to create a div element. Semicolon. Now I am creating another variable, my text, suppose. My text, here what I will write, document dot create text node.
Text node.
Create text node. So this is the function, and here I will write I am okay. Semicolon. Then what I will do, tell me now what is the next step? I want to see I am okay is separate text node. Div is also separate div, my div. Now how you are going to make that I am okay part of the div?
Append child.
Append.
Yeah, mdiv dot append child. Append child, and here what you will do? Append child. M text, yes. M text. Semicolon it. Come over here. So now your div got created, and now this div I'm going to make it. I'm going to put it in the body. So for that purpose, what I will do? I'm going to create another m body equal to document dot, suppose body I'm going to select document by tag name. Document by get element by tag name, which is nothing but body, semicolon, and then I'll write m body, mbod dot append child. What I'm going to append in the body, tell me, text node or div?
ID.
Yeah, my div. You are going to have my div, yes.
Sir, we have to give index there, no? For elements.
Yes, correct. Very nice. We'll go for 0. Now save it. Control S. Come to this. No, it is not coming. Why it is not coming? Embody my document dot create element div. Okay, what I will do, I'm going to create a div here. I'm going to have a div where I'll give the ID of div something, D1. Okay. Okay, now inside that div, I'm going to put it. I'll go for document dot get element by ID. By ID. And then here I'll write ID is D1. D1, 0 is not required. And then mbod dot append, I'll go for append only. Okay, append child is also fine. Append child my dev, control S. Okay, it is not happening because div ID equal to D1 get element by ID D1. Then mybot dot append.
I think there should be where.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, here,
F1.
yeah, where. Correct. Where my body. Okay, now you do control S. Still it is not coming. Variable mdiv document dot create element div fine. Variable mtext document dot create text node I am okay. My div append child mtext. Okay. Then okay, it is within a function. No, that is the problem. Okay, it should not be within a function. It is just within a script. Okay. Control S. See, now it is coming. I am okay. So in a page load, HTML is not having anything. Okay, it is only having an empty div. But when the JavaScript runs for that HTML, for that I am creating a dynamic div. I am putting the text in that dynamic div, and that dynamic div I am going to display within the another div, which ID is div. Now we'll go for body. Let's see whatever we have done. We'll go for body now. What function I'll be used for over here? Tell me. Tag name. Tag name, body, and then we'll go for 0. Okay, now we'll go for mbody append child mdiv. Okay, control S. Now I don't require this div at all. Control S. See, I am okay is going to get displayed. Change the text node to something else. Suppose, hi, how are you? And then do control S, come to this. See, hi, how are you is getting displayed. So what you have done through JavaScript, you have created a dynamic element and you have placed some content to that, and that dynamic element you are displaying as a element with a content in your HTML. So it's a dynamic content. Are you clear what is a static content and what is a dynamic content? So element is created through JavaScript is a dynamic content. On runtime it will be created, and the element which is already there in the HTML, it is a static content. Is that okay, guys? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So
Okay, we'll go for the, yes.
Can we create attributes for the elements you have created dynamically?
Okay, you want to create an attribute for the element. Okay, that also you can do. So which attribute you want to create? Suppose you want to give an ID to the div. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so for that purpose, my div is this one. You go for my div dot, is there any set attribute is there? Set attribute, set interval is there. My div dot ACT set, yeah, set attribute is there. Click on that, and here you make it as, for this attribute ID comma, and give the name of the ID. Suppose DD. Getting? Okay. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, what you can do, you can, okay, if you, now you have set the ID for the dynamic div which you have created using set attribute function, which is being called by the mdiv. Now, okay, now what I will do, I will do like this. To checking it is working or not, alert. In a alert, I will write document dot, no, alert, what I will do, I am going to display ID. Suppose my mdiv dot, one second, it is a my div. I want to display the content, right? So for this purpose, I will do document dot get element by ID. What I will write it over here? ID, tell me.
DD.
Yes, DD, and inside that whatever is there, inner HTML. So if my alert is displaying the content, hi, how are you? That means that div's ID I have set it to DD, and through that DD ID I am able to display the content. Okay, understood? So I'll save it and I'll run it. See, it is displaying over here. See, hi, how are you? In the alert box, it is displayed. Hi, how are you? It is displaying. So that means you have set the attribute ID for that dynamic div what you have created. Guys, getting clear?
Sir, why we need to write inner HTML?
Inner HTML is the property. See, inner HTML is a property which is help us to get the content of an element. Inner HTML help us. See, using this piece of code, you are only selecting the element, but adding inner HTML, you are referring the content of that element.
Okay.
Okay.
So what is the difference between inner HTML and value?
Yeah, value you will be using for input element, for input type text, input type email, input type date. For those purposes, to access those content, those elements through JavaScript, we will be using value. Okay, and for the element which are not input element, for them to access the content inside, you are going to use inner HTML. Okay. So it is like this. I'll give you an example for this. Suppose in a body section, I have an input. I have an input type equal to, suppose, text, and this one input type text. Anything else is there? Suppose I'll give ID. ID equal to, suppose, T1 flower bucket. Okay. Now what I will do? I'll do something like this. I'll have a button. I'll have a button. Then I'll have an on-click function for this. On-click equal to, suppose, fun. And close the button. Here I will click here. Click here. Okay, now what I will do, I'm going to have a fun function over here for this. I'll define function fun. Flower bucket, delete it. I'm going to write this code for us. So what I will do over here, now in fun, I'll comment everything. Yeah, for fun, what I will do, when you click on, I'll create a variable, suppose txt text. How I can tell me whatever we have learned from there, how I can get the content of the input box, what you are writing, how I will get it.
On click document dot
get element by ID.
Yes, so go for document dot get element by ID. What is the ID over here?
T1.
T1. So you select the ID. Here you have to go for value. You cannot go for inner HTML. Okay, because it is an input element. For input element, to access the content, what is been written by the user on the text box, that you can access with a value. Okay, now what you do in a alert? In a alert, you display welcome, and then you write it over here plus, suppose, txt. Does it make sense, guys? Understanding? So what I have done in my HTML static part, I have a input text box and I have a button, and when you click on the button, it will call fun function. Inside the fun function, we are accessing the element by its ID T1. That means we are accessing the input box. Then inside input box, what is written, that I am getting using dot value. That content I am putting it in a txt. So welcome txt I am displaying over here. So I'll do Control S and come to this. See, now if I write over here, suppose Ravi, and if you click, see, welcome Ravi is getting displayed. So in a HTML form, how you are going to take the form in a JavaScript and how you are going to dynamic coding you are going to apply on that content, it can be done like this way. Is it okay, guys? Over here, if you give inner HTML, over here, if you give instead of value, you try to give inner HTML. Inner HTML, Control S. If you write over here Ravi, click here. See, welcome, Ravi is not getting display. Okay, to get the content of the input value, to get the content of the normal element, which is not an input, we will be using inner HTML. Does it make sense? Understood, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. We'll move forward now. Okay, now creating, removing and updating DOM. How I can remove the div? Can anybody tell me? Okay, first I want to remove the content of the div. I want to remove the content of the div. So what I will do, I'll now uncomment it. Okay. I want to remove the content of the div. For that purpose, what I will do, I'm going to have this fun. I'm going to separate from this. I'll delete this one. Okay. Now, whenever you are going to click on the button, what I want the content of the div should disappear. So for that purpose, what I will do, this should be below to this. Control X, Control V. Now here, what I will do, I'll select my div dot remove child. Remove. Where is the remove child option? Remove child. Yeah, remove child. And which child I'm going to remove? Any idea? Any guesses? What is the child of the div which I want to remove? The content. Which variable is holding the content of the div?
mtext.
Mtext. Yeah. So mtext. Now click on this. So can you tell me what will happen with this piece of code now? Any idea?
It will delete that mtext.
Yeah. So when the text of the div will get deleted, whenever you are going to click on the button, which is click here. So now you do Control S. Come to this. Okay, click on this. So here, hi, how are you? Okay, now click on this button. See the content got disappeared. Div is there, but content is not there. Fine. Okay. So similar fashion, what you can do, you can delete a total div also. My content dot remove. It is going to whatever my content, which is my content dot remove. It will remove the text, and my div, new div dot remove, it will remove the total div all together, everything together. Okay. Next thing. Okay, we have done this one. Okay, is it possible to manipulate the web page or parts of the web page and show the changes on the web page using JavaScript without using DOM? So there is a question. Is it possible to manipulate the web page or part of the web page and show the changes on the web page using JavaScript without using DOM manipulation? Is it possible? Yes or no? Guys?
No.
It is not possible. DOM is the only way, because when the HTML is parsed by the browser, it is going to create a DOM tree. And in that DOM tree, you can add as you want, you can delete or remove as you want, or you can do any dynamicity on that DOM tree through JavaScript. So it is must. Perform DOM manipulation, get the details about the element used in the web page. We have done it just now. So suppose there is an element heading, how through DOM you are going to access that element and the content that element, and then you are going to modify or delete it. So this already you have done it. Okay, next is select DOM element. Select first image in the document and display the, can you guys tell me what would be the answer for this? First point, select first image in the document and display the value of the SRC of the image.
And document dot by image.
No, there is no document or so you are either you are going to select the image by tag
Tag's
name,
name.
ID.
yeah, by tag name or ID or class name or this one. So if you select the image by tag name, then how you are going to select the first image?
By index.
0.
0. So okay, so you got, so what you do, you write variable anything equal to document dot get element by tag name, and then tag name within a parameter of the tag name img tag, and then of 0. So that is going to, you are going to get the first image got selected. Now you tell me how you are going to display the src of that image. Any idea? That variable dot src is going to have the src value. So let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah. So over here I have suppose I am having an image. Script tag head body. I'll just delete this one. What I'll have like this. img src equal to suppose flower flower dot png. And then I'm going to close this one. Okay, now here I will have ID equal to img1. Okay, now you tell me how to select this image by its ID in a JavaScript.
Get element by tag name.
By
Yeah,
tag
so
name.
go for variable. Suppose image I equal to variable I equal to document dot get element. Which one you want to use? Tell me.
By ID or tag name.
By ID or tag name. So we'll go for by ID, or as per they have explained it, I'll go for tag name. And then I will write over here in double quote?
IMG.
IMG, because it's a tag name IMG. Then it is a so it's a 0. The first
0.
image got selected. Okay. Now in a alert I want to display for this image what is the value of the src. Any idea? Any guesses?
Where dot src?
Sorry, what is dot src? Where dot src? Which variable is holding the image element? Which variable is holding the image element?
I.
Sir.
So you have to write I only, no, I dot src. That's it. Getting? It is going to display the I dot src. If you do Control S, if you come over here, see image. This developer. See flower.png. It is going to it is giving the full path, and the flower.png it is getting displayed. If you go for only value, src dot value. Okay, value is not there. Value, save it. No, value is undefined.
Sir,
So like that, if you want to have
outside bracket or inside bracket.
what you are telling,
Sir, it should be outside bracket or inside bracket. Value, dot value.
dot value should know. See, the dot value is the attribute of the I, so it should be within the bracket only, because this is a bracket for alert, opening bracket of alert, closing bracket of alert. Inside that, value is nothing but attribute of a variable of the element, variable which is referring the element, so it should be within the bracket only. Okay, getting? Yeah.
Can
If
you
I go
show
for
by
this one,
putting it
if I
outside
go
the
for
bracket?
I dot ID, tell me what would be the output in this case?
IMG1.
Yes. So if you do Control S, and if you come over here, see IMG1 is, so that means for a particular element, what is the value of the attribute? That also you can get it by the variable which is referring that element in JavaScript. If I write over here, suppose class equal to imgc. Any idea how I am going to access? So that means anything you can access in JavaScript which is there in the HTML, and you can change it as per your requirement. Getting? Okay. Now you tell me how I am going to display the value of the class for this IMG element in a alert.
I dot
I dot class
I dot
class.
I dot class. That's what. I dot class. And then you do Control S. Come over here. So see, undefined it is telling why I dot class dot value. I think something.
Class name.
Sir, in tag name,
No, 1 second. I dot class it is not giving. ID it is giving. Class it is not, because class is a keyword. Okay, that is a problem. So you cannot use class over here. Class is a keyword. So for that image, okay, I'll give for width, suppose. Don't give it as class. I'll give some other attribute width. Width equal to suppose 200. Now I want to display the width. I want to dynamically. So dynamically I'm going to access the width, and later on I can change the width dynamically, and so that this image will look bigger. Width. Then Control S. See 200, it is getting displayed.
Sir, but
Okay.
like class width is also a keyword, right?
Yeah, class is also a keyword. So that's why we cannot use class for displaying the value of the class, which is there in the HTML. Fine. Okay.
Sir, but ID is also a keyword, then why it is working for ID?
No, ID is, no. See, class means in JavaScript, there is a class object concept is there, no? But in
Yes, sir.
in a JavaScript object-oriented programming, there is a concept called class. Okay, so it is Java. Now here JavaScript got confused. It is a class of an object or it is a class attribute of the element. So that is why it got confused. But for ID, there is nothing like that. There is no confusion of the object-oriented JavaScript with ID. It is the property of an element only. That's why no confusion. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so like this. So see, let me do one thing. So you'll have a, okay, over here, suppose I'm having something like this. I'm having a div, and div have I am div. Okay, then over here I'm going to have a div style. I'll give it style equal to suppose background color. I'll give style equal to width width. Okay, width colon suppose 200 px semicolon, and background color colon suppose red.
So background spelling mistake.
BSCK. Yeah, background color. So now if you Control S, you come to the page. See, you are getting like this. Height also I'll mention something. Semicolon height colon 200 px. Okay. Now if you save it and if you run it, you are getting this one. Fine. Now I am going to have a button. I'm going to have a button over here. Button. And for the button, what I will have on click event. On click equal to fun. So I'll give us another fun one, suppose. Fun one. And then close button. Okay, fine, button here. Expand. Okay. Now for the I'm going to create the fun one function over here. Function fun one. Here what I will do, I'm going to select the div. I'm going to use variable d equals to document dot get element by id, and I'm going to select by id, which is this one, div id, suppose d1. Okay, so here I'll make it d1 id. id equal to d1. Okay. Now what I will do, I select the element by its id d1, and then what I want to do, I'm going to write d dot style dot width. dot width. It was 200. I'm going to make it as 400. 400. Okay, I'll give it over as double quote. And then semicolon. Any idea what will happen for this output, for this code? What output changes you will see? So if I do Control S and if you come over here, see if you click on this, no, width is not getting expanded. So that means EX has to be written. Come over here. Yeah, can you see? So in a page load, it was 200 and 200, but when you click on that is what called interactivity. That is what you are going to achieve with JavaScript. So on the page, you are having some button, you are having some control. When you click on that, your page will respond dynamically. So if you go over here, it has got so you can that's how you can use any type of animation through JavaScript in your web page. Is it clear, guys? So what I did over here, I have selected the div by its ID in a variable D. Then that D is calling a style attribute dot style, and for that style is calling it the style property width, and that style properties I'm going to give some value 400 px like that. Can you tell me how to change the height also? To how to make the height also 400 to change when you click on the button? What you should do?
d.style.height.
Yeah, d.style.height. Height equal to make it as 400. This one also. And then semicolon. Now do Control S. See, it has got height and width both got change on runtime. So that is what the JavaScript purpose is. Okay. Okay. Then so these are then remove the first paragraph element from the document. Display the number of times div tag is used in the web page. How to display how many div is there? Let's see who can answer it. Okay, I want to have, you try it out. I want to have suppose multiple div. I have 3 div. Control V, Control V. How JavaScript should know how many div is there? What you will do for that?
Can I use length?
Yeah, very good, very good. So okay, you will be using length, but how you will select this? Means what would be the selection code for this? Then
Text name. Get element by text.
yes, that's what. So here it should be element by document dot get elements by tag name. Elements by tag name. So what you will be writing over here inside that?
Div.
A div, and then semicolon. Now what you will do in a alert box?
Index, sir. Index missing. Index.
d.length.
Yeah, no. Here index is not required. No. See, I want to select all the div, and
Okay.
then I want to display the count of the div. Getting?
Yes, sir.
So how to get the count? Any idea?
d.length.
d.length. Correct.
Sir, size.
Yes.
Size property is not there, sir.
No. Which size? See, when you write get elements by tag name div, that means all div got selected. And here, if you give 0 among the all div, the first div will get selected. If you give 1 among the all 3 div, second div will get selected. If you give 2 among the all div, third div will get selected. But if you don't give any index, that means what? This d variable is holding all the div present in the HTML. Now you d can call length. That means how many div is there in this d variable. That length you are going to get it as 3 div. Is it clear now? Understood? If you do Control S and if you come to see the output, so click on expand, you will get 3 divs are there. You can add one more div over here and check it out. So it will become 4 now. div div, something like that. Control S. Come to this. Expand. See, you are getting the 4 as the 4 divs are there. So when you want to do the counting of the number of same element is there in the, how many there in the HTML. Don't go for indexing. For indexing, take all the divs should be the part of the variable, and then variable dot length is going to give us how many div is there in that variable. Any confusion here, guys? Okay, fine. So this is the thing. So we have done all this. What is it called? This the demo we have done it. No problem. Okay, what is next? We are having next moving through the tree. So already we have discussed this. If you have a H1 and my home page is the content of the H1, which is the child of H1, and H1 P and all H1 and both the P is the child of body. So can you tell me what is the index number of H1 as a child of body?
0.
Yeah. What is the index number of P? First P of the child of body?
1.
Yeah. So these H1 P, PP are the siblings. Okay. Now finding elements in the DOM. Tell me what is, let me see who can answer it. Document.body.get elements by tag name A0. And then console.link.href. Any idea what you see? This is actually the, okay. For this 2 line of code, what you will get? Any idea? Somebody
Sir,
with
we
a
will
very
get
good
the
sentence,
reference link.
you have to explain it. Yes?
Sir, we will get the reference link of anchor tag, which is at 0 index.
Very good explain. So we'll get the reference link, reference value for a anchor tag, which is present at the first in the HTML. Good job. What about this then? What you will get over here? So we have a HTML2P is there. In the script tag, we have a document.get element by ID, Gertrude, and then console.log, ostrich.src. Any idea?
Sir, we are getting the source link.
Source location, sir. File location.
Location of the file, sir.
Yeah, so we'll get the location and the file name. So this is JavaScript is taking this location and the file name. Later on, see, suppose there is a what is it called, image is there. Okay, for that image, when you are going to load the page, it is going to redirect to the javatpoint.com. Now you have put a button and you said go to W3 schools. So when you click on the W3 schools button, automatically in a JavaScript, I'll change the SRC to W3 schools. So automatically it will go to the W3 schools. Getting? So that kind of interactivity through JavaScript you can achieve in your web page. You have a image. For image, SRC is JavaTPoint. Now you access that image using get element by ID, and then you change the SRC of that image JavaTPoint to W3 schools on a click event of a button. So it will go to the from JavaTPoint, it will go to the what is it called W3 schools. So that kind of thing you can do it. Okay, next.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir,
Yes,
when
someone
will
is
the
saying
break?
something.
Lunch, sir. Sir,
Yeah,
break.
we'll go for, yeah, it is already 2 o'clock, right? So we'll go for lunch. After lunch,
Yes.
we'll resume our session. Okay. So it is a 2 o'clock now. So 2:40 will come back. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding. Sorry, I didn't see the time. So 2:40 will resume our session. Thanks all for being part of this session. We'll meet at 2:40.